Captain Kim Tae-min stood on the bridge of the UES Iron Phoenix and watched the stars ahead change color. The ship was moving fast through space toward a line that no human had ever crossed before. His hands rested on the command console as warning lights flashed red around him. "Captain, we are approaching the boundary," said Lieutenant Park Ji-won from her position at the tactical station. Her voice was steady, but Tae-min could hear the tension underneath. "Hegemony sensors will detect us in 3 minutes." Tae-min nodded without taking his eyes off the main screen. The core zone stretched out before them like a wall of forbidden space. For 200 years, the galactic hegemony had kept all younger species out of this region. They called it their sacred territory. Humans called it something else entirely. "Engineering report," Tae-min said into his comm device. Commander Lee Dong-wook's voice crackled through the speakers from deep inside the ship. "All systems green, Captain. The quantum disruptors are charged and ready, though I still say we're pushing them beyond safe limits." "Noted, Commander." "Communications?" Ensign Choi So-young looked up from her station where multiple alien languages scrolled across her screens. "Hegemony patrol frequencies are active. They know something is coming, but they don't know what yet." Tae-min walked to the front of the bridge and looked out at the swirling colors of the core zone boundary. His crew of 120 humans had trained for this moment for 3 years. Every simulation, every drill, every sleepless night had led to this single crossing. "Captain," Ji-won called out. "Proximity alarms are sounding. We have 30 seconds to the boundary line." The bridge fell silent except for the humming of the ship's powerful engines. Navigation Officer Han Bo-ra watched her instruments carefully as the Iron Phoenix approached the invisible line that divided known space from the forbidden territory beyond. "Sir," Bo-ra said quietly, "if we cross this line, there's no going back. The hegemony will consider it an act of war." Tae-min turned to face his crew. These were good people who had followed him across half the galaxy. They trusted him to make the right choice. He thought about Earth so far away now. He thought about the colonies where humans lived under hegemony rules they had never agreed to follow. "The hegemony has kept humanity locked in a cage for 50 years, he said. "They decide where we can go and where we cannot. They decide which planets we can settle and which technologies we can develop. Today we tell them that humans don't ask for permission anymore." The boundary markers appeared on the screen. Bright warning beacons that had kept ships away for centuries floated in the darkness ahead. "All stations report ready, Captain," Ji-won announced. Tae-min returned to his command chair and sat down. His finger hovered over the communication button that would send their message to the entire ship. 120 people waited for his words. "Crew of the Iron Phoenix," he said, "we are about to make history. We are about to show the galaxy that humanity will not be contained. Full speed ahead." The ship accelerated toward the boundary. Warning signals from the hegemony beacons filled the communication channels with urgent messages in dozens of alien languages. All of them said the same thing. "Turn back. You are not allowed here. This is forbidden space." Bora counted down the final seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boundary crossed. "Captain." The Iron Phoenix pushed through the invisible line and entered the core zone. Immediately, the ship's sensors detected massive energy signatures all around them. Ancient hegemony stations hidden in the dark began to wake up. Patrol ships that had been sleeping for decades suddenly powered their engines. "Contact," Ji-won reported. "Multiple vessels approaching fast. I count 6 ships. Hegemony corvettes by their signatures." On the main screen, sleek alien ships appeared from behind asteroids and space stations. Their hulls were smooth and elegant, built by races that had mastered space travel while humans were still learning to make fire. Energy weapons began to charge with bright blue light. "Incoming transmission," So-young announced. "Put it through," Tae-min ordered. The screen filled with the image of an alien captain. The being had 4 eyes and skin like polished metal. When it spoke, the translation system turned its clicking sounds into human words. "Human vessel, you have violated sacred space. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. This is your only warning." Tae-min stood up and straightened his uniform. "Tell the hegemony captain that we decline his generous offer." So-young's eyes went wide. "Sir, are you sure about that message?" "Send it exactly as I said it." The alien captain's 4 eyes blinked in confusion when the translation reached his ship. For a moment, nobody moved. Then the alien's skin changed color to angry red. "Human fools, you will learn respect." The transmission ended. The hegemony ships moved into attack formation around the Iron Phoenix. Their weapons charged to full power and targeted the human vessel that dared to enter their sacred space. They're locking weapons on us, Ji-Wan reported. 6 ships, all targeting our main hull. Taemin smiled. The aliens had no idea what they were about to face. Let them fire first, Lieutenant. I want the galaxy to see who started this fight. The first Hegemony corvette opened fire. Blue energy beams struck the Iron Phoenix's shields and lit up space with brilliant flashes. The human ship shook but held steady. More ships joined the attack until the Iron Phoenix was surrounded by weapons fire. Shields holding at 80%, Dong-Wook reported from engineering. Those are some heavy guns they're using. Return fire, Taemin ordered calmly. Ji-Wan pressed the firing controls and the Iron Phoenix responded with weapons the Hegemony had never seen before. Instead of energy beams, the human ship fired projectiles that bent space around them as they traveled. The quantum disruptors hit the first Hegemony corvette and simply made it disappear. The other alien ships stopped firing in shock. Where a warship had been floating seconds before, there was now only empty space and floating debris. What just happened? One of the alien captains demanded over the communication channels. Human weapons, Taemin replied. You wanted to see what we're capable of. There's your answer. 2 more Hegemony ships tried to run. The Iron Phoenix's weapons found them before they could escape. Quantum disruptors tore through alien shields like they weren't even there. In less than a minute, 3 enemy ships had been completely destroyed. The remaining corvettes backed away from the human vessel. Their captain spoke rapidly in their alien languages, calling for reinforcements and trying to understand what had just happened. Captain, So-Young said, I'm picking up transmissions across the entire core zone. The word is spreading fast. Everyone knows we're here now, Taemin nodded. That had been the plan all along. Let the Hegemony know that humanity would not be stopped by their rules anymore. Set course for the heart of their territory, he ordered. It's time to deliver our message. The Iron Phoenix turned toward the center of the core zone where the most powerful Hegemony worlds waited. Behind them, the remaining patrol ships followed at a safe distance, too afraid to attack but too proud to run away completely. The crossing was complete. There would be no turning back now. News of the human attack spread across Hegemony space faster than light itself. On the capital world of Morcon Prime, High Chancellor Morthok received the emergency reports with growing anger. His scaled hands crushed the datapad as he read about 3 patrol ships destroyed by a single human vessel. Impossible, he hissed to his advisors gathered around the council chamber. Humans are barely beyond primitive tool use. Their ships are crude metal boxes with simple engines. Defense Minister Kolvar stepped forward nervously. My lord, the surviving captains all report the same thing. The human weapons ignored our shields completely. The ships just vanished. Morthok's yellow eyes glowed brighter with rage. Then our captains are cowards who ran from one small ship. Send Admiral Vex 9 with a full battle group. Bring me this human ship intact so I can study their weapons. Then execute the crew publicly to show the galaxy what happens when lesser species forget their place. Meanwhile, deep in the core zone, the Iron Phoenix continued its journey toward the heart of Hegemony territory. Captain Taemin walked through the ship's corridors, checking on his crew after their first battle. The excitement of crossing the boundary was fading, replaced by the reality of what they had started. In engineering, Commander Dong-Wook worked frantically on the quantum disruptor systems. Sweat dripped from his face as he adjusted power coupling connections with shaking hands. How are our weapons holding up? Taemin asked as he entered the engineering bay. Dong-Wook looked up from his work with tired eyes. Not good, Captain. Those disruptors were never meant for extended combat. We can maybe fire them 20 more times before the quantum cores overload. After that, we'll have conventional weapons only. How long to repair them if they fail? 6 hours minimum. Maybe longer if we don't have the right parts. Dong-Wook wiped his hands on a rag. Sir, I have to ask. Did Command really think we could take on the entire Hegemony with one ship? Taemin put a hand on his engineer's shoulder. They didn't send us here to take on anyone, Commander. We're here to deliver a message. Whether we survive to deliver it is up to us. On the bridge, Navigator Bora plotted their course through the dangerous space of the core zone. Ancient gravity wells and energy storms created hazards that could destroy a ship if the pilot made one wrong turn. Her instruments showed dozens of obstacles ahead. Captain, she called when Taemin returned to the bridge, I'm detecting massive gravitational anomalies in our path. The Hegemony built their core zone in the most dangerous region of space they could find. Navigation is going to be extremely difficult. Medical Officer Dr. Yoon Hae-jin approached from the medical bay, with a concerned expression. Sir, we have 14 crew members showing symptoms of quantum radiation exposure from our own weapons. The disruptors are affecting our people through the ship's hull. Taemin frowned. Every piece of news seemed to bring more problems. How serious is it, Doctor? Not fatal yet, but prolonged exposure could cause permanent damage. I recommend limiting the use of quantum weapons to absolute emergencies only. Understood. Do what you can for the affected crew. Communications specialist So Young suddenly looked up from her station with wide eyes. Captain, I'm receiving a transmission. It's coming from the Hegemony High Command itself. Put it on screen. The bridge's main display filled with the image of High Chancellor Morthak himself. The alien leader sat on a throne made of crystallized starlight, his intimidating presence filling the screen. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of someone who had ruled billions of beings for centuries. Human insects, Morthak began with obvious disgust. You have violated sacred space and destroyed hegemony vessels. This aggression will not be tolerated. You will surrender your ship immediately and submit to judgment. Your crew will be permitted to live as prisoners if you comply within 1 standard hour. If you refuse, you will be hunted down and destroyed without mercy. The transmission paused, waiting for a human response. The bridge crew looked to their captain for orders. Taemin stood quietly for a moment, thinking about his reply. So Young, can you broadcast my response across all hegemony communication networks? Yes, sir, but they'll try to cut us off quickly. That's fine. I don't need long. Taemin walked to the center of the bridge and faced the screen. Record and transmit. So Young activated the communication systems. You're broadcasting now, Captain. Taemin looked directly into the camera with calm confidence. High Chancellor Morthak. I am Captain Kim Taemin of the United Earthship Iron Phoenix. We received your generous offer of surrender and we must respectfully decline. He paused to let his words sink in across the galaxy. For 2 centuries, the hegemony has told humanity where we can go and where we cannot. You have decided which worlds we may settle and which technologies we may develop. You have treated us like children who need your permission to exist in this galaxy. The captain's voice grew stronger. Today that changes. We didn't come to your core zone to ask for permission. We came to deliver a message. Humanity will no longer bow to your restrictions. We will go where we choose when we choose. And if you try to stop us, you'll discover just how dangerous a primitive species can be when it decides to stop playing by your rules. So Young's hands moved quickly across her controls. Sir, I'm uploading the navigation data from our journey, showing them everywhere we've been in the last month. The data transmission included detailed scans of 17 hegemony worlds deep in the core zone, military installations, defense platforms, and fleet positions that the aliens thought were completely secret. The information proved that the Iron Phoenix had been conducting reconnaissance throughout their territory for weeks without being detected. As you can see, Taemin continued, we know more about your defenses than you think we do. We've been watching. We've been learning. And we've been preparing for this moment. The transmission cut off as hegemony jamming systems finally blocked their signal, but the damage was done. The message had been broadcast across dozens of star systems before they could stop it. On Morcon Prime, High Chancellor Morthak stared at his advisors in shocked silence. The humans had somehow infiltrated the most secure region of space in the galaxy and mapped their defenses without anyone noticing. How is this possible? He demanded. Our sensors should have detected any ship entering our space. Defense Minister Kolvar checked his reports again. My lord, there are no records of any unauthorized entries in the past month. Either our security systems failed completely, or the humans have technology we don't understand. Send every available ship to Admiral Vex 9, Morthak ordered. I want that human vessel found and destroyed immediately. And activate the ancient defense platforms. If the humans want to play with forces beyond their understanding, we'll show them what real power looks like. Aboard the Iron Phoenix, the crew watched as enemy ships began moving throughout the core zone. Long-range sensors detected dozens of hegemony vessels converging on their position from all directions. Captain, G1 reported, I'm counting over 60 enemy ships heading our way. 80 is 6 hours, Taemin nodded calmly. Then we have 6 hours to reach our destination. Bora, plot the fastest course to the central system. Don't worry about the gravity storms. We'll take our chances with natural hazards rather than enemy fleets. Sir, Dongwook called from engineering, if we push the engines that hard through dangerous space, We might not have power for the quantum disruptors when we need them. We'll deal with that when the time comes, Commander. Right now our job is to deliver the rest of our message. As the Iron Phoenix accelerated toward the heart of hegemony space, Captain Taman wondered if his crew truly understood what they had started. The galaxy's most powerful civilization was now mobilizing to destroy them. But somewhere in human space, other ships were preparing to follow their path. The message had been sent. Now they had to survive long enough to see if anyone received it. Admiral Vex 9 stood on the command deck of the massive hegemony dreadnought Eternal Dominion and watched his fleet assemble in space. 60 warships formed perfect battle lines around his flagship. Each vessel represented the finest military technology the galaxy had ever seen. Together, they carried enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. The Admiral's forearms worked at different control panels while his main eyes focused on tactical displays. His species had been warriors for millions of years, and he had never lost a battle in 3 centuries of service. Today would not be his first defeat. "Fleet status report," he commanded in his deep, rumbling voice. Captain Zur 5 looked up from his station. "All ships report combat ready, Admiral. Weapons charged, shields at maximum, boarding parties prepared. The human vessel cannot possibly escape." Vex 9 nodded with satisfaction. "Good. When we find this single human ship, we will capture it intact for study. The High Chancellor wants to understand their weapon technology before we eliminate their species entirely." 6 light-years away, the Iron Phoenix moved through the dangerous space of the core zone like a ghost. Navigator Bora guided the ship between gravity storms and energy fields that would have crushed lesser vessels. Her hands moved constantly over the navigation controls as she found safe paths through the cosmic hazards. "Another gravity wave approaching," she announced to Captain Taman. "This one is bigger than the others. We'll need to change course." "Do it," Taman replied. "How much longer to reach the central system?" 4 hours at current speed, sir. But the hegemony fleet will intercept us in 2 hours if we maintain this heading. In the engineering section, Commander Dong Wook worked desperately to repair damaged quantum disruptor systems. The exotic weapons were breaking down faster than he could fix them. Sparks flew from overloaded power conduits as he and his team fought to keep the ship's most powerful weapons online. "Captain," he called through the communication system, "the quantum cores are destabilizing. I can give you maybe 10 more shots before complete system failure. After that, we're down to conventional weapons only." On the bridge, Tactical Officer Ji-Wan studied her sensor displays with growing concern. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures approaching our position. The entire hegemony battle fleet is moving to intercept us." Taman walked to the main viewing screen where the stars ahead seemed to shimmer and bend. Something was happening to space itself around their location. "So Young, any word from Earth Command?" Communications Specialist So Young shook her head. "Nothing yet, Captain. We're too deep in hegemony space for normal transmissions to reach home, but I am picking up something strange on the quantum communication frequencies." "Strange how?" "Multiple quantum signatures that shouldn't exist. It's almost like there are other ships using our communication protocols, but that's impossible. We're the only human vessel in this region." Dr. Hei Jin approached the captain with a medical scanner in her hands. "Sir, quantum radiation levels throughout the ship are increasing rapidly. It's not just from our weapons anymore. Something external is affecting us." Taman frowned as he considered the implications. "External quantum radiation? What could cause that?" Before the doctor could answer, Bora called out from her navigation station. "Captain, space around us is beginning to fluctuate. I'm reading massive distortions in the fabric of reality itself." The main screen flickered and showed ripples moving through the star field like waves in water. The Iron Phoenix shuddered as exotic forces pulled at its hull. Warning alarms began to sound throughout the ship. "All stations report," Taman ordered. "Engineering system stable," Dongwook called out. "But the quantum signatures are off the scale. Whatever is happening out there is bigger than anything our ship could produce." Ji-Wan looked up from her tactical displays with amazement in her eyes. "Captain, you need to see this. The quantum signatures are multiplying. I count 15 separate sources now, all using human technology patterns." Taman stared at the impossible readings. "That can't be right. Check your instruments. I've run diagnostics 3 times, sir. The readings are accurate. There are 15 human quantum signatures approaching our location through higher dimensional space." So Young suddenly straightened at her communication station. "Captain, Incoming transmission on Earth military frequencies. The signal is coming from inside the quantum distortions. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled with a familiar human voice. Iron Phoenix, this is Captain Ryu Hyunwoo aboard the UES Steel Tempest. Sorry we're late to the party. We had some trouble with the quantum fold navigation. Taemin's crew stared at each other in shock. Another human ship had somehow appeared in the core zone using technology they didn't even know existed. Steel Tempest, this is Iron Phoenix actual. How did you get here? Same way you will next time, Captain. Through the back door. We've been following your progress through quantum fold space. Very impressive work, by the way. Command decided you shouldn't face the hegemony alone. The space around the Iron Phoenix began to ripple more violently. Reality itself seemed to tear open as massive shapes pushed through from another dimension. One by one, human battleships materialized in normal space around the Iron Phoenix. The Steel Tempest appeared first, its hull gleaming with advanced armor plating. Then came the Void Hunter under Captain Song Ye-jin, followed by the Thunderstrike, the Starbreaker, and 11 more vessels. Each ship was larger and more heavily armed than the Iron Phoenix. My God, Bo-Ra whispered as she watched the human fleet assemble. 15 battleships just appeared out of nowhere. Captain Ryu's voice came through the speakers again. Iron Phoenix, we are Battle Group 7 of the Human Defense Fleet. Our orders are to support your mission and establish a permanent human presence in the core zone. Taemin couldn't hide his amazement. Battle Group 7? How many battle groups does Earth have? That's classified information, Captain. But I can tell you that this isn't the only fleet heading into hegemony space today. Across the fleet, communication channels came alive as human captains coordinated their positions. Captain Song Ye-jin's voice joined the network from the Void Hunter. All ships, this is Void Hunter actual. Quantum fold drives are powering down. We are now committed to conventional space. The Thunderstrike's captain, Commander Park Jin-soo, added his report. Weapon systems online. New quantum plasma cannons are charged and ready. These hegemony ships won't know what hit them. Admiral Vex 9's fleet detected the quantum disturbances from over a light year away. His sensors showed impossible readings as 15 more human vessels simply appeared in space, where none had been before. How is this possible? He demanded from his crew. Our intelligence reports indicated humans possessed only primitive, faster-than-light technology. Captain Zur 5 checked his instruments repeatedly. Admiral, the quantum signatures suggest these ships traveled through higher dimensional space. Such technology should be beyond human capabilities by millions of years. Then our intelligence was wrong, Vex 9 growled. Signal the fleet. All ships advance to attack formation. We will destroy these human ships before they can coordinate their defense. Aboard the Iron Phoenix, Taemin felt a mixture of relief and determination as he looked at the human fleet surrounding his ship. They were no longer alone in hostile space. All human vessels, this is Iron Phoenix actual. Admiral Vex 9's fleet will reach our position in 90 minutes. I recommend we advance to meet them rather than wait for attack. Captain Ryu's voice responded immediately. Agreed, Iron Phoenix. Battle Group 7 will follow your lead. You started this fight, and we're here to help you finish it. The 15 human ships formed into an attack formation that no alien military had ever seen before. Instead of rigid battle lines, they moved like a pack of hunters, each ship covering the others while maintaining maximum flexibility. Bo-Ra, set course for the approaching hegemony fleet, Taemin ordered. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity. As the human fleet accelerated toward the largest military force the hegemony had ever assembled, Taemin realized that this battle would determine the future of human expansion into space. Win or lose, nothing would ever be the same again. Admiral Vex 9 watched his tactical display as the human fleet approached his position. 60 hegemony warships formed perfect attack lines, their energy weapons charged to maximum power. The Admiral's 4 eyes studied the enemy formation with confusion. The human ships moved in strange patterns that made no tactical sense according to traditional military doctrine. Their formation is chaotic, Captain Zur 5 observed from his station. No proper battle lines, no organized command structure. They fight like wild animals instead of trained soldiers. Good, Vex 9 replied with confidence. Undisciplined enemies are easier to defeat. Signal all ships. Concentrate firepower on the largest human vessel. We will destroy them one at a time. The massive dreadnought Eternal Dominion led the hegemony attack. Its main weapons could punch through the shields of any known starship with a single shot. Behind it, cruisers and destroyers prepared to finish off whatever survived the dreadnought's assault. 3 light minutes away, the human fleet spread out in their unconventional formation. Captain Taemin stood on the bridge of the Iron Phoenix and watched as his fellow humans prepared for the most important battle in their species' history. All ships report ready for combat, Tactical Officer Jiwon announced. The new quantum plasma weapons are online and targeting systems are active. Captain Ryu's voice came through the communication system from the Steel Tempest. Iron Phoenix will follow the Wolfpack tactics we discussed. Hit fast, move constantly, and never give them a stable target. Understood, Steel Tempest. Remember, these aliens have been fighting wars for millions of years. They're experienced, but they're not used to our fighting style. Captain Song Ye-jin added her voice from the Void Hunter. All human vessels, be advised that hegemony weapons are extremely powerful. Don't try to match their firepower directly. Use speed and maneuverability to avoid their main guns. The 2 fleets closed the distance between them rapidly. Soon they would be in weapons range and the real battle would begin. On both sides, crews made final preparations for combat. In the Iron Phoenix's medical bay, Dr. Hei-jin prepared treatment stations for wounded crew members. She knew that even with their advanced technology, people would be hurt in the fighting ahead. Commander Dong-wook worked frantically in engineering to keep the quantum disruptors stable. Captain, I can give you maybe 8 shots before the system overloads completely. Make them count. We will, Commander. Just keep us flying. The first shots of the battle came from the hegemony dreadnought. Massive energy beams reached across space toward the Iron Phoenix with enough power to destroy a small moon. But the human ship wasn't where the alien gunners expected it to be. Navigator Bora had moved the Iron Phoenix into a spiraling attack pattern that confused the enemy targeting systems. The deadly energy beams passed through empty space while the human ship returned fire with its quantum disruptors. The exotic human weapons struck the eternal dominions' shields and caused them to flicker and spark. The massive alien ship shuddered under the impact of technology it couldn't understand. Impossible, Admiral Vex 9 snarled as damage reports reached his command center. Our shields should have stopped any human weapon easily. Around the main battle, the other human ships began their attacks. The Steel Tempest and Void Hunter worked together to target a hegemony cruiser. Their quantum plasma cannons fired streams of superheated matter that burned through alien armor like paper. The Thunderstrike used its superior speed to dart between enemy ships, firing at their engines and weapon systems. Commander Park Jin-soo had trained his crew to fight like pirates rather than traditional naval officers. Target their sensor arrays, he ordered his gunners. Blind them and they can't hit us accurately. The human tactics were unlike anything the hegemony had ever faced. Instead of standing in formation and trading shots, the human ships moved constantly. They attacked from unexpected angles and concentrated their fire on single targets. 3 hegemony destroyers tried to surround the Starbreaker, but found themselves outmaneuvered by Captain Kim Soo-jin's crew. The human ship seemed to dance between their weapons fire, while its own guns found weak points in their armor. This is impossible, one alien captain transmitted to his fleet. These humans fight without honor or proper military discipline. Admiral Vex 9 realized his traditional tactics weren't working. All ships abandon formation, pursue individual targets and destroy them at close range. But breaking formation played directly into human hands. The separate hegemony ships became isolated from mutual support. Human vessels worked in pairs and small groups to overwhelm individual alien ships. The Iron Phoenix targeted a hegemony heavy cruiser that had separated from the main fleet. Ji-won coordinated the attack with precision that the alien crew couldn't match. Firing quantum disruptors, she announced. Direct hit on their main reactor section. The alien cruiser exploded in a ball of white-hot plasma. Its destruction lit up space and sent shockwaves through the hegemony fleet. They were losing ships to an enemy they had considered barely civilized. Captain Song's Void Hunter engaged 2 enemy destroyers simultaneously. Her crew used advanced targeting computers that could track multiple threats at once. The alien ships had organic brains that couldn't process information fast enough to compete. Target their weapon systems first, she ordered her tactical officer. Disable their ability to fight back, then finish them. Both alien destroyers found their main guns destroyed by precise human fire. Helpless and adrift, they surrendered rather than face complete annihilation. This shocked both fleets. Surrender was almost unknown in hegemony warfare. They usually fought to the death rather than accept defeat. But facing weapons they couldn't understand and tactics they couldn't counter, some alien crews chose survival over honor. Captain, G1 reported to Taimin. 2 more enemy ships are signaling surrender. That makes 7 ships that have given up, rather than continue fighting. Taimin made a decision that would echo through galactic history. Signal all surrendering vessels. We accept your surrender and guarantee the safety of your crews. Stand down your weapons and prepare to be escorted out of the battle zone. Admiral Vex 9 couldn't believe what he was hearing on the communication channels. Cowards, he broadcast to his fleet. Any captain who surrenders to these humans will be executed for dishonor when this battle is over. His threat had the opposite effect. More hegemony crews realized their admiral cared more about his reputation than their lives. Several more ships stopped fighting and requested terms of surrender. Dr. Heijin found herself treating wounded aliens alongside injured humans. The enemy crews were shocked that their captors provided medical care instead of execution. It was their first glimpse of human values that the hegemony leadership had never bothered to understand. The tide of battle turned completely when the Thunderstrike destroyed the hegemony flagship's main weapon systems. Admiral Vex 9 found his mighty dreadnought unable to fight effectively against the swarming human ships. Admiral, Captain Zur 5 reported with fear in his voice, we've lost 40% of our fleet. Our remaining ships are scattered and many crews are requesting permission to withdraw. Vex 9 stared at his tactical display in disbelief. His superior numbers and advanced technology should have guaranteed victory. Instead, he was facing the first defeat of his long military career. Captain Taimin opened a direct communication channel to the hegemony flagship. Admiral Vex 9, you have fought bravely, but this battle is over. Surrender your remaining ships and I guarantee safe passage for all your crews. The old admiral's pride warred with his responsibility to the soldiers under his command. Around him, his bridge crew looked at him hopefully. They wanted to live to see their families again. Human Captain Vex 9 finally responded, I accept your terms. The hegemony fleet surrenders. As the guns fell silent across the battlefield, both sides began to realize that everything had changed. The humans had not just won a battle. They had shattered the myth of hegemony invincibility forever. High Chancellor Morthak paced across the crystal floor of his throne room on the capital world. Emergency reports flooded in from across the galaxy, each one bringing worse news than the last. His greatest admiral had surrendered to humans. 40 hegemony warships had been destroyed or captured. The core zone itself was under human control. This cannot be happening, he hissed to his council of advisors. Humans are supposed to be primitive creatures barely capable of space travel. How did they defeat our finest fleet? Defense Minister Kolvar nervously read from his datapad. My lord, the reports all say the same thing. Human weapons and tactics were completely unknown to our forces. They fought like nothing we have ever encountered before. Then our military leaders are incompetent fools, Morthak snapped. Prepare the reserve fleets. I will personally lead them to crush these upstart humans. But even as he spoke those words, new reports arrived that made his scaled skin turn pale with fear. Rebellions were breaking out on 17 different worlds. Species that had lived under hegemony rule for centuries were suddenly declaring independence and asking humans for protection. Meanwhile, in the heart of the core zone, Captain Taimin stood on the observation deck of a captured hegemony space station. The massive structure had been abandoned by its alien crews when the human fleet arrived. Now it served as the command center for humanity's growing presence in forbidden space. Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command, communications specialist So Young announced from her new workstation inside the alien facility. The holographic image of Fleet Admiral Chen appeared in the center of the room. His weathered face showed both pride and concern as he looked at the officers who had started a galactic revolution. Captain Taimin, congratulations on your victory. The entire human government is proud of what you and your crews accomplished. However, we have a new situation developing that requires your immediate attention. What kind of situation, Admiral? 23 alien species have contacted Earth in the past 6 hours. They're all asking for human protection against hegemony retaliation. It seems your victory has inspired rebellions across their territory. Taimin felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. What are our orders, sir? Establish a permanent base in the core zone and prepare to receive allied vessels. We're sending additional battle groups to support you. But the real work is just beginning. After the transmission ended, Captain Song Ye-jin approached from where she had been overseeing the installation of human technology in the captured station. Her engineering teams had been working around the clock to make the alien facility compatible with human systems. Captain, we've got the basic systems online. The station can now support 300 human personnel and provide docking facilities for 50 ships, but we're going to need more help if we want to establish a real presence here. Commander Dong-wook joined the conversation, his face showing exhaustion from days of continuous work. Sir, I've been studying the hegemony technology we captured. Some of their systems are incredibly advanced, but they're also extremely rigid. Everything is designed to work one specific way with no room for modification or improvement. What does that mean for us? It means we can adapt their technology to work with ours, but they can't adapt ours to work with theirs. We have a huge advantage in any long-term conflict. Dr. He-jin entered the command center with several alien crew members following behind her. The captured hegemony soldiers looked nervous but curious as they observed human operations. Captain, I've been working with the prisoners we took from the destroyed ships. Most of them have never seen anything like human military organization before. They're amazed that we treat wounded enemies the same as our own people. One of the alien prisoners, a junior officer named Keth 7, stepped forward hesitantly. Captain Taemin, I request permission to speak. Go ahead. The young alien's translator device converted his clicking sounds into human speech. I have served in the hegemony military for 12 years. In all that time, I have never seen enemy soldiers treated with respect and dignity. Your people saved my life when my ship was destroyed. Why did you do this? Taemin considered his answer carefully. Because that's what civilized beings do, Officer Keth 7. We fight when we have to, but we don't hate our enemies. We certainly don't murder helpless prisoners. The alien's 4 eyes widened with surprise. But we are your enemies. We tried to destroy you. You followed orders from your government. That doesn't make you personally evil. If you want to return to your people, we'll arrange safe passage. If you want to stay and help us build something better, you're welcome to do that too. Keth 7 exchanged glances with his fellow prisoners before speaking again. Captain, what are you trying to build? A galaxy where different species work together instead of one group dominating all the others. A place where beings are judged by their actions, not by which planet they were born on. More human ships arrived daily through the quantum fold network that Earth had been secretly developing. Captain Ryu Hyunwoo commanded the new arrivals, helping them establish defensive positions throughout the core zone. Each ship brought news of the growing crisis in hegemony space. The rebellions are spreading faster than anyone expected, he reported to Taemin during their daily briefing. Entire sectors are declaring independence. The hegemony is losing control of territory they've ruled for centuries. Navigator Bora studied the tactical displays showing the changing political situation across the galaxy. Captain, we're receiving requests for help from species I've never even heard of. Some of them are offering to share advanced technology in exchange for human protection. How advanced? Medical techniques that could extend human lifespan by decades. Energy systems that are more efficient than anything we've ever built. Agricultural methods that could feed billions more people on Earth. Captain Song approached with her own reports from the expanding human operations. Sir, we've established contact with a group calling themselves the Free Worlds Alliance. They're species that broke away from hegemony rule years ago and have been hiding in the Outer Rim. They want to join our coalition. How many worlds are we talking about? Over 200 inhabited systems, Captain. If they join us, we'll have a power base that rivals the hegemony itself. Taemin walked to the observation windows and looked out at the busy space around the captured station. Human ships worked alongside vessels from a dozen different species, all united by their desire for freedom from hegemony domination. A priority message arrived from Admiral Vex 9, who was being held in comfortable quarters aboard the Iron Phoenix. The defeated hegemony commander had requested a private meeting with the human captain. Captain Taemin, the old admiral said when they met in the station's conference room, I have served the hegemony for 3 centuries. I have conquered worlds and destroyed entire fleets, but I have never seen anything like what your people have accomplished in just a few days. What do you mean? You didn't just defeat us militarily. You offered us something we never expected. Hope. Half of my surviving crew members have asked to join your cause. They see a future with humans that they never had under the hegemony. Vex 9 paused and looked directly at Taemin with his 4 ancient eyes. Captain, There are factions within the hegemony government who have grown tired of High Chancellor Morthak's rigid rule. They have been looking for an opportunity to change our civilization for decades. Are you saying some hegemony leaders want to negotiate? I'm saying that if you can guarantee their safety, several High Council members would be willing to meet with human representatives. They understand that the old ways are failing, and that cooperation with younger species might be the only path forward. Taman realized that the galaxy was changing even faster than he had imagined. The victory in battle had been just the beginning. Now they faced the much more complex challenge of building a new kind of civilization from the ruins of the old one. Admiral, arrange the meeting, but understand that humans won't accept anything less than full equality for all species. The days of anyone ruling over others are ending. As more reports arrived from across the galaxy, it became clear that the human victory had triggered the largest political upheaval in galactic history. The age of hegemony dominance was ending, and something entirely new was being born among the stars. 6 months had passed since the Iron Phoenix first crossed into forbidden space. Admiral Kim Taman stood on the command deck of the massive space station that now served as the headquarters of the Free Space Protectorate. Through the viewing windows, he watched ships from over 40 different species working together to build something the galaxy had never seen before. The former hegemony core zone had become the center of a new kind of civilization. Human vessels worked alongside alien ships to establish trade routes, research stations, and defensive positions. What had once been forbidden territory ruled by fear was now open space governed by cooperation. Admiral, Captain Song Ye-jin approached from the operations center. The morning reports are ready. We now have 312 worlds in the Protectorate, with more joining every week. Taman accepted the datapad and reviewed the impressive numbers. The Free Space Protectorate controlled territory that would have been unimaginable just months ago. More importantly, it was growing stronger every day through voluntary membership rather than conquest. Any word from the hegemony negotiations? Hi. Council Member Vel 8 is arriving today with a full diplomatic team. She says they're ready to discuss formal recognition of our territory and a permanent peace treaty. The transformation of galactic politics had been remarkable to witness. The old hegemony still existed, but its territory had shrunk to less than half its former size. High Chancellor Morthak had been removed from power by his own council, after his rigid policies led to the loss of hundreds of worlds. Captain Ryu Hyun-woo entered the command center carrying reports from the expanding human fleet. Admiral, Battle Group 12 just arrived from Earth with 40 new ships. That brings our total fleet strength to over 800 vessels. Any problems with integration? None at all. The new crews are working well with our allied species. Lieutenant Commander Park Min-jae reports that his mixed human-alien engineering teams are developing hybrid technologies faster than anyone expected. The success of multi-species cooperation had been one of the most surprising developments. Human adaptability combined with alien knowledge was producing innovations that neither group could have achieved alone. Medical advances, energy systems, and manufacturing techniques were improving rapidly across Protectorate space. Dr. Yoon Hai-jin joined the meeting with her own remarkable news. Admiral, the medical exchange program has achieved something incredible. We've developed treatments that work for all known species in our alliance. Disease and genetic disorders that have plagued some worlds for centuries can now be cured. How are the former hegemony prisoners adapting? Better than anyone hoped. Officer Keth 7 has become one of our most effective liaison specialists. Many of his former colleagues have chosen to remain with us permanently. They say they've found purpose here that they never had under the old system. Navigator Bora approached with stellar charts showing the latest expansion of Protectorate territory. Sir, the exploration fleets are reporting contact with civilizations beyond the former hegemony boundaries. Some of them are interested in joining our alliance. Any hostile contacts? A few. There are still some species that prefer the old ways of domination and conquest, but most seem curious about our cooperative approach to governance. The success of the Free Space Protectorate had attracted attention from across the galaxy. Ancient civilizations that had remained hidden for millennia were reaching out to establish contact. Some offered advanced knowledge in exchange for protection from more aggressive neighbors. Commander Dong Wook arrived from the research division, with news about their technological development programs. Admiral, the hybrid quantum plasma systems are ready for fleet-wide installation. The new weapons are 3 times more powerful than our original designs, but they use half the energy. Any stability issues? None. The alien crystal matrix technology solved our power regulation problems completely. We can now build weapons that are both more effective and safer for our crews to operate. A priority message arrived from Admiral Vex 9, who had chosen to remain with the humans rather than return to what remained of the hegemony. The old warrior had become invaluable advisor on alien military tactics and political structures. Admiral Taemin, Vex 9 said when they met in the conference room, I have news from the hegemony remnant. 3 more sectors have declared independence this week. The old government is losing control faster than they can respond. Are they becoming hostile toward us? Just the opposite. Most of the breakaway regions are asking to join the Protectorate. They see what we've built here and they want to be part of it. Taemin walked to the viewing wall where the busy space outside showed the reality of their success. Cargo ships from dozens of worlds carried goods and resources between allied systems. Research vessels explored new regions of space with mixed crews from multiple species. Defense platforms protected peaceful commerce with weapons that no single civilization could have developed alone. Captain Song approached with a communication from Earth. Sir, President Williams wants to speak with you directly. She says it's about the next phase of human expansion. The holographic image of Earth's president appeared in the center of the room. Her expression showed both pride and determination as she looked at the man who had changed galactic history. Admiral Taemin, the entire human government congratulates you on building the Free Space Protectorate. You've accomplished something we never imagined possible when we sent you into the core zone. Thank you, Madam President, but this is just the beginning. There's still much work to do. That's why I'm calling. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected massive energy signatures from the galactic rim, ancient civilizations that make the hegemony look primitive. Some of them are starting to take notice of what's happening in our region. Taemin felt a familiar sensation. It was the same feeling he'd had when looking at the core zone boundary months ago. New challenges were coming, and humanity would need to be ready. What are our orders, Madam President? Continue building the Protectorate, but also prepare for contact with powers we've never encountered before. Some of them may be friendly. Others definitely won't be. After the transmission ended, Taemin returned to the observation deck where he had spent so many hours planning their future. The Iron Phoenix hung in space nearby, still the flagship of the human fleet despite newer and more powerful ships joining their forces. Communications specialist So Young approached with the daily intelligence reports. Admiral, our scout ships are detecting movement in the Outer Rim territories. Unknown vessels using technology we can't identify. They seem to be heading in our direction. How long before they reach Protectorate space? Maybe 6 months, sir. Possibly less if they have faster-than-light systems more advanced than ours. Taemin nodded thoughtfully. The galaxy was vast and full of unknowns. Humanity and their allies had established themselves as a major power, but greater challenges were certainly waiting beyond the horizon. Send word to all Protectorate worlds, he ordered. Begin preparations for potential first contact with unknown civilizations, and start construction of the new exploration fleets. If there are ancient powers awakening in the Outer Rim, we need to be ready to meet them. As night fell over the space station, Taemin made his final log entry of the day. 6 months ago, the Iron Phoenix crossed a forbidden boundary to deliver a message about human determination. Today, the Free Space Protectorate stands as proof that cooperation is stronger than domination. He paused and looked out at the stars that held infinite possibilities. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders we haven't yet discovered. Some of the powers out there will be friendly. Others will test everything we've built here. But humanity didn't come this far by backing down from challenges. The entry concluded with words that would echo through human space for generations to come. The age of asking permission is over. The age of human expansion has begun, and we're just getting started. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together with our allies, as equals among the stars. Outside the station, New human exploration ships prepared for launch toward the galactic rim. The message was clear. Humanity would continue to expand, explore, and build bridges between species. And anyone who tried to stop them would learn what the hegemony had discovered. Underestimating humanity was the most dangerous mistake anyone could make.